Good evening, fans. This is your girl from Mel's Chat, and this is your official AEW All In 2023 review. Hopefully, everybody had a great afternoon. I did an amazing event, two questionable title changes, but all in all, it was a really good afternoon of wrestling. It was not the greatest. I mean, people were saying that it was going to be 90,000 people. It wasn't even close to 90,000. It was over 80,000, and which I was expected, but they also based it on the ticket sales. A lot of tickets were technically sold to people to sit into the crowd. So it was sold, but it wasn't in attendance. So I never understood that whole situation, and I never will. If you sell the tickets, fine, sell the tickets all you want, but the attendance is more important than the ticket sales, honestly. So hopefully everybody is doing well. I'm going to get you in and get you out of here because I want to enjoy the rest of the evening. Something came up. I wanted to do this earlier, but, being yes, I had to wear my AEW hoodie. I was represented and whatnot. So, hopefully that I could get you in and get you out and everything like that. But my favorite match through the entire whole situation was it had to be the match with Will Ospreay and Chris Jericho, because it was more that this match was supposed to take place in the pandemic and it never did because of certain circumstances, and I completely understand. But that was my favorite. The two questionable matches that I'm gonna put this out here is the trios title match and the women's title match. I believe that they did it for reasons and political reasons, and it's sad that Carter, she gets the belt and then it gets immediately taken off of her, which she shouldn't have been in that situation to begin with. But it is what it is. I'm not Tony Khan. But that's neither here or there. The trios match, I'm upset with Billy Gunn for saying, we'll take the titles. You take it off of a trio that is dominant. You have Malachi Black, Buddy Matthews, and Brody King to lose to them. That made no sense in the fact. I love the fact that they did a tribute to Bray Wyatt, and it's upsetting that this whole thing was overshadowed by this. But, as he keeps saying, he's got the whole world in his hands. And he legitimately had this weekend fucking making it his bitch. And I love it. I love every minute of it. It was also announced that a year from now, they will be back in Wembley. It will be back in August. They also are going to make this a thing that it's going to be back to back, which Tony Khan is a moron, but that's neither here nor there with that. And of course, CM Punk had to fucking overshadow everything and make everything about him. And if this is true, if it's not true, whatever the case may be, they should have really should have not even. They should have never done anything about this. Because of the fact that it overshadowed everything. Once it came out, it was like, oh my God, Punk is at it again. As I tweeted out, and you could go and I'll even fucking find the fucking thing, screenshot the damn thing, and I will make it apparent. CM Punk could legitimately fucking commit murder in the middle of 42nd Street in New York City, and Tony Khan is going to sit there, eat shit, and like it, and he doesn't give a shit. He's a fucking goddamn detriment to professional wrestling. Now, I'm going to say this very clearly. I am a CM Punk fan. I love his work. He's an incredible wrestler. But, no pun intended, his personality fucking sucks. Dick! I don't understand how a fucking guy can act like that. They're getting away with it. If I acted like that, I would be vilified in front with my family, my colleagues, everybody. They would vilify me. I cannot believe that he's acting like this, and he knows he's going to get away with it because Tony Khan is doing this to him. And I found it hilarious that he's wearing a suit, Tony Khan. Who else does that? Who else does that? Who else comes out cool with the button-down shirt, the sports jacket? He looks so fucking cool. Tony Khan looks like a fucking dork. I love AEW, but Tony Khan is a fucking blithering fucking idiot, and I can't deal with it anymore. His father better fucking take his ass out of this, make him a general manager, whatever the case may be. He likes to book, just be a booker. Put somebody in there that it does the day-to-day operations, and then we don't have to fucking worry about this. There is upcoming events. There's this new event called Wrestle Dream or something like that. I don't know why we're having another fucking event, which makes things even worse. I thought less is more. I don't want more fucking pay-per-views. I would like to go through maybe a good month that I don't have to fucking goddamn worry and schedule my fucking weekends. You know, my weekends, I'm very busy. I'm a busy woman during the week. I like to fucking enjoy my weekends. Especially every 2 weeks, I have to go see my son. This is just a nightmare. But Tony Khan wants more and more and more. And guess who that reminds me of? Of Vince McMahon. But that's neither here nor there. But all in all, great afternoon of wrestling. It was done. It was over with. I could get this out, and you can enjoy the rest of the Sunday. And I will be back here on Friday at 2 p.m. with episode 305. Also, I will be covering Payback and All Out next weekend, so look for that. Remember, the 7th, I will not be doing my Impact Reaction stream. My son will be home celebrating his 18th birthday. Also, this coming week, it will be will be business as usual. So don't worry about anything like that. So let's get this party started. Please do me a favor. Go while you're here, like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Turn on the bell for all notifications so when I go live or upload something, you know about it. Do me a favor, please go and check out my Astro Classics at myastroclassics.com. Get all your beauty essentials there. Please go check out Liquid Death at liquiddeath.com. Get all your artillery to murder your thirst when your thirst is killing you. Please do me a favor, go check out Deathwish Coffee at deathwishcoffee.com. Get all your coffee essentials and your merchandise there. Please go check out the HOG Wrestling at hogwrestling.net. The next pay-per-view or the event that they have will feature El Helio del Vikingo. And if you can't get there, get the tickets at hogwrestling.net. You could go to Premier app and subscribe at $9.99 a month. And I have all this fucking in my brain. I don't have anything written down. I just go with it. Also, please go check me out on Instagram, X, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, and Threads. Mel's Match Chat. It's the same fucking concept. That's it. All right, we're going to start off with 0 Hour. And the big match there was for the ROH World Tag Team Championship. Aussie Open, Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis versus Better Than You, baby. AEW World Champion MJF at Adam Cole, baby. So, Aussie Open. Aussie Open blindsided Cole and MJF at the start of the match. They bashed Cole and MJF with a collider outside the ring. Davis planted MJF and splashed him for a 2 count. Fletcher whipped Cole into the steel guardrail. MJF was looking for a kangaroo kick, but Davis clipped him from behind. Cole made the tag and kicked Davis in the jaw, then dished one out to Fletcher. Fletcher charged at Cole, and Cole superkicked him. MJF and Cole went for the double clothesline, but Davis pulled Fletcher out of the ring. Aussie Open pulled out Cole and swarmed him before MJF could do the dive. Aussie Open nailed MJF with an Aussie arrow for a near fall. MJF connected with a kangaroo kick on Aussie Open. MJF and Cole hit a double clothesline on Kyle Fletcher, and Cole pinned Fletcher. Your new ROH World Tag Team Champions, better than you, baby. They won the titles at the last ROH pay-per-view against the Lucha Brothers, which I can understand. They didn't want to put him in that situation. They were kind of like that team that was going to end up dropping the titles to them anyway. But still, it fucking sucks, you know? So in the crowd, we had 7-time world champion Mercedes Marnay shown watching the event in the stadium seats. Worlds colliding, worlds colliding. We had FTW champion match, Jack Perry versus Hook. Jack Perry arrived in a limo. Jack Perry exited the vehicle and stood on the roof holding up his FTW championship. Hook walked up the ramp with the two began to brawl. Hook hurled Jack Perry across the hood of a vehicle. Hook stepped back, sent Jack Perry hard into the open door of the limo. Jack Perry suplexed Hook on the top of the car. Jack Perry channeled RVD, used a rolling thunder on Hook on the hood of the car. Hook planted Perry with a fisherman buster suplex onto the front windshield. Jack Perry fired back with a draping DDT on Hook. Jack Perry teased going coast to coast, but then gave the packed stadium a double middle fingers instead. Perry crunched Hook with 3 German suplexes. Brock Lesnar in essence of his own for a near fall. He hit a second German on Perry. Hook T-boned Perry into the turnbuckle. Perry nailed Hook with a tiger driver for a 2 count. Hook dodged a moonsault. Hook bashed Perry with a trash can on the skull. Hook locked in Red Rum and forced Jack Perry to tap out. Your new FTW champion, Hook. Nigel McGuinness joined the broadcast booth for the next match. The broadcast team to start the pay-per-view portion of the event: Excalibur, Jim Ross, and Nigel McGuinness, which I was thrilled that Nigel McGuinness was doing this pay-per-view. He deserved it. My allergies have been kicking my ass. Sorry. Real World Championship. The Real World Championship. Sorry. Match. CM Punk versus Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe and CM Punk locked up, with Joe muscling Punk into the turnbuckles. Punk smiled as he put Joe in a headlock. Samoa Joe slid out of the ring and chopped at Punk. Back in the ring, Samoa Joe rattled CM Punk with chops and a headbutt. CM Punk dumped Samoa Joe on his head with a Hurricane Rana. CM Punk tried for a dive over the top rope, but Samoa Joe moved with Punk crashing onto the arena floor. Punk tried for a Hurricane Rana, but Samoa Joe caught him and swung him through the bottom of the broadcast table. Punk was busted wide open. Samoa Joe targeted the laceration with jabs. Samoa Joe clocked CM Punk with a high boot, then sat out a senton splash for a near fall. CM Punk got an instinctive headshot, dropping Samoa Joe with a roundhouse kick. CM Punk hit a leg drop on Samoa Joe, but Joe kicked out at the 1 count. Samoa Joe power slammed CM Punk. Samoa Joe countered an incoming knee strike with a power bomb. Joe transitioned to an STF on Punk. CM Punk escaped and collapsed Joe with a roundhouse kick. CM Punk paid homage to Terry Funk with a spinning toe hold on Samoa Joe. CM Punk attempted a rising knee strike, but Samoa Joe countered with the ST Joe. Samoa Joe was looking for an avalanche brainbuster, but Punk chomped down on Joe's head. CM Punk nailed Samoa Joe with a Pepsi plunge and pinned him, and retained the Real World's Championship. Trios match. The Golden Elite, Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page, with Kota Ibushi, versus the Bullet Club Gold, Juice Robinson, rock hard Juice Robinson. You know, it's kind of hilarious that he gets married to Toni Storm and he starts using rock hard. I don't find that as a coincidence at all. But you tell me, is there any other reasons why he's always rock hard? If you can't tell me, then I have no idea. Jay White and Konosuke Takeshita. Don Callis ends up going to the commentary booth. Omega and Hangman ping pong Juice with chops. Ibushi tagged in and Juice immediately tagged out to Jay White. Ibushi tried for a roundhouse kick, but Jay ducked it. Jay smashed Ibushi with forearms, but Ibushi didn't budge. Sorry. Ibushi blasted Switchblade with a hard kick. Takeshita entered the fray, but Omega took him down with a Hurricane Rana. Omega wiped out Takeshita and Jay White with a Terminator drive. Ibushi and Takeshita squared off and exchanged forearms. Takeshita clocked Omega with the Takeshita line. Hangman grabbed a tag and Page clean house on Juice and Switchblade. Hangman hit Jay White with a dive from the top rope for a near fall. Jay White escaped a dead-eye attempt. Ibushi tagged in and nailed White with a standing moonsault press. Ibushi, Omega, and Page triple teamed Jay White. Ibushi planted Jay White with a German suplex for a near fall. Jay White rallied back, spiking Ibushi with an Uranagi. Omega and Takeshita tagged in for their respective teams. Omega dished out Snapdragon suplexes all around. You get a Snapdragon, you get a Snapdragon, everybody gets a Snapdragon. Takeshita was there to wallop. Omega with a Blue Thunder Bomb for a near fall. Omega cracked Takeshita with a Poison Rana. Hangman was looking for a buckshot lariat, but the guns jumped up on the apron. Page knocked them to the floor and then took them out with a moonsault. Page went for a buckshot lariat on Takeshita, but Jay White shoved Takeshita out of the way. Switchblade sent Page flying with a half-and-half suplex. Ibushi rocked Jay White with a running knee strike. Juice Robinson scored with a leg lariat on Ibushi, but Omega was there to facepalm and dunk Juice onto the mat. Takeshita decimated Ibushi with a jumping knee strike. Ibushi is in dire straits, said Jim Ross. Hangman hit Takeshita with a blindside buckshot lariat. Jay White was trying for a Blade Runner on Omega, but Omega escaped and countered with a massive knee strike. Omega cracked Juice with a knee strike. Omega connected with a V-trigger on Jay White. Out of nowhere, Takeshita rolled up. Omega pinned him. Did you see that? We just changed the world, said Don Callis. We're never going to hear the end of this. We're never going to hear the end of this. I'm swearing to Jesus. AEW World Tag Team Championships. FTR, Cash Wheeler, and Dax Howard versus the Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson. I am never calling them the Young Bucks again. They are in their mid-30s. They're no longer young, okay? Sorry. They're the Bucks. They can't call themselves the Bucks because there's a fucking basketball team called the Bucks. They're the idiots for fucking naming themselves the Young Bucks. These guys don't think, okay? The Young Bucks attire paid homage to Freddie Mercury. There were dueling chants, "Let's go Young Bucks, FTR." Nick Jackson scoop slammed Cash Wheeler. Cash answered with a slam of his own onto Matt Jackson. FTR employed quick tags, but the Bucks had similarity strategy. The Bucks sent FTR over the top rope and down onto the arena floor with stereo clotheslines. Nick connected with a corkscrew over the top rope onto FTR. The Bucks found their groove, said Jim Ross. Nick Jackson stuck Cash with a senton for a near fall. Matt Jackson dropped an elbow on Cash, a la Bret Hart. Cash tried to tag out to Dax, but Matt superkicked stacked, preventing the tag. Matt DDT Cash. Nick Jackson springboard Cash, fended it off with a forearm. Dax grabbed a tag and suplexed Nick onto Matt Jackson. Dax nailed Matt with 3 German suplexes. Matt answered with his locomotion Northern Light suplex. Matt used a standing Northern Light suplex on Dax for a 2 count. Dax answered with a German suplex of his own. "This is an outstanding match," said Jim Ross. Dax applied a sharpshooter to Matt. Cash put Nick in a sharpshooter on the apron. FTR spiked Nick with a pile driver, with Cash getting a near fall. Matt saved Nick from the shatter machine. The Bucks blasted Dax with the super kicks. The Bucks spiked Dax with a pile driver, and Nick scored a near fall. Dax dodged a BTE trigger, and then Cash speared Nick through the ropes. FTR nailed Matt with a V trigger of their own and followed it up with a shatter machine. Matt kicked out at 2. Cash attempted a 450 splash. Matt moved out of the way. He super kicked Cash and scored a near fall. The Bucks hit Cash with a BTE trigger, but Dax broke it up. The pin attempt that followed. The Bucks smacked Dax with a shatter machine. The Bucks rocked Cash with a second BTE trigger, but Cash kicked out of the pin attempt. Wembley chanted, "This is awesome. This is awesome." The Bucks were thinking Mel'S driver, but FTR countered with a shatter machine on Nick, and Cash pinned Nick. FTR offered their hands of sign of respect to the Bucks, but the Bucks turned away and left the ring. Oh, boo, ho, 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 ho. Let me tell you something. Come here. Come a little closer. You're not the best tag team in the world. Until the Bucks face the Usos, you can't even be in that conversation, all right? So with this fucking thing like, "Oh, I'm the best, you're not the best. Because you haven't faced the best. The best right now is the Usos. And that's not happening at all. Stadium Stampede match. Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and Mike Santana and Ortiz versus Eddie Kingston, Penta El Zero Miedo, Orange Cassidy, Trent Beretta, and Chuck Taylor. Tony Schiavone goes and does commentary for this match. Kingston charged straight for Claudio. Both teams paired off and brawled around the ring. Santana and Ortiz and the Best Friends traded strikes in the ring. Moxley used branding iron on his opponents. Penta smacked Santana and Ortiz with steel chair. Penta dropped both of them with sling blades. Moxley planted Penta with a cutter. He followed up with a paradigm shift on Penta. Moxley pulled out skewers, but Penta whacked Moxley with a steel chair. Penta spiked the skewers in Moxley's head and followed it up with a Made in Japan. Oh, Maron. Really? I swear to God, fucking Moxley, if he was told to do an Iron Man match and he can't bleed, I think he would have the jitters. He legitimately, I'm not kidding, he went from being an alcoholic to being basically a mutilator. He traded one fucking addiction for another. I don't understand this, people. It doesn't make sense. He needs now. I think he needs to get out of wrestling because he can't go through. It's like he has like the shakes. I mean, come on. Something's not right with the guy. He needs to bleed at all times. And his poor daughter is going to, all she's going to know is that Daddy gets boo-boos on forehead. And then when he eventually has CTE, she's going to say Daddy had boo-boos from work. And she's going to think that's really normal. And it's not. It's not normal at all. He couldn't wait to get out of WWE. I guarantee you he needed to bleed. He needed to bleed. So that's something wrong in my opinion. I don't know about you. Please reach out to me. So anywho, Claudio and Kingston brawled throughout the concourse. Mike Santana powerbombed Penta into 2 steel chairs in the ring. Moxley mauled Orange Cassidy with a fork. Orange was busted wide open. Moxley planted Orange with a brainbuster onto the steel chairs. Moxley raked a barbed wire board onto Trent's face. Ortiz cracked Trent with a kendo stick that was wrapped in barbed wire. Kingston jabbed Wheeler with an umbrella in the mouth. Santana and Ortiz powerbombed Trent onto a ladder in the corner. Moxley sent Trent flying onto a plank covered in barbed wire. Ortiz splashed Trent for a near fall. Moxley spiked Trent with a pile driver onto the ring steps. Ortiz continued to attack Orange with a fork to the head. A white minivan pulled up. It was Trent's mom, Sue. Mox kissed her, and Trent began smashing the BCC with trays of Sue's cookies. Music began to rumble. Penta El Scudo came out through the entrance. Penta looked for revenge for what was done to his brother, said Excalibur. Penta and Santana traded stiff shots on the top of the ladder, and then the ladder collapsed underneath their combined weight. Penta went back up and smashed Santana with a sunset powerbomb through the 2 tables. Orange and the best friend swarmed Wheeler Yuta in the ring. Ortiz punished Chuck Taylor with bacon sheets shots. Yuta pulled out a screwdriver and charged at Chuck Taylor, but Taylor dodged the attack. Chuck planted Wheeler with an awful waffle, but Claudio jumped into the ring and broke up the pin. Moxley rocketed out of the ring through the ropes and straight at Chuck Taylor. Claudio grabbed Orange Cassidy and put him in a giant swing. Trent suplexed Ortiz off the top turnbuckle and threw the tables on the arena floor. Cassidy clocked Claudio with the 3 orange punches for a near fall. Orange wrapped tape around his fist, broke a bottle into a bucket, and then placed his fist in there. Orange pulled out his tape fist, and it was covered with broken glass. Moxley dropped Orange with his right hand before Orange could do any damage to Claudio. Orange DDT Mox onto the broken glass. Claudio hoisted up Orange and pulped him with a European uppercut. Eddie Kingston marched to the ring with a steel chair wrapped in barbed wire like Terry Funk, battering anyone in his path. Kingston smacked Claudio repeatedly with the chair. Moxley pulled the chair out of Kingston's hands, and they had a bloody stare down. Moxley looked for the paradigm shift, but Kingston countered with a spinning back fist. Kingston tackled Moxley through a table. Orange connected with a broken glass. Orange punched to Claudio and pinned him. So what that means is that it's going to be a title for title down the line. Holy smokes, he won it. Tony Schiavone. So now the good guys won. Is they good? I'm hoping that this is done. I'm done with this. AEW Women's World Championship match. Hikaru Shida, Saraya, Tony Storm, and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Saraya made her entrance with her family and Queen's We Will Rock You playing. Jesus Christ, fucking Tony Khan was fucking dishing out the money. Tony Storm walked into the ring, God Save the Queen, echoing throughout Wembley Stadium. Saraya and Storm worked in tandem to powerbomb Shida. Baker hit a neck breaker on Saraya for a near fall. Tony smashed Baker with a hip attack in the corner. Saraya and Tony began to argue as they both went to cover Baker for the pin attempt. Things are breaking down before our eyes, said Excalibur. Shida attacked the Outcasts in the corner and then charged at them with a running knee strike. Shida suplexed Saraya into Tony Storm. Baker walloped Storm with a sling blade. Saraya blindsided Baker with a thrust kick. Saraya's mom was in front row and held Baker while Storm chopped Baker. Storm charged at Baker, but Baker dodged her. Storm inadvertently collided with Saraya's mom. Saraya clubbed Tony with her forearm. Tony answered in kind. Tony Storm stripped off the bottom turnbuckle pad and popped Saraya against it. Storm was setting up her hip attack, then Ruby Soho sprinted to the ring to restore some order between her fellow outcasts. Ruby pleaded with Storm, but Storm knocked her down. Saraya got up and connected with a thrust kick to Tony Storm. Shida rocked Saraya with a missile dropkick. Baker dropped Shida with a swinging neck breaker. So many moving parts, said Excalibur. Saraya tied up Storm in a submission, but Baker was there to curb stomp Storm. Shida hammered Baker with strikes. Shida hoisted up Baker and planted her with a falcon arrow on Saraya. Shida crushed Saraya with a meteor for near fall. Shida walloped Saraya with a katana kick, but Baker broke up the pin attempt. Baker was trying to apply the lockjaw on Shida. Saraya grabbed a can of spray paint and spray painted into Tony's eyes. Saraya spiked Storm with a nightcap and pinned her. Your new AEW World Champion, Women's World Champion Saraya. I feel bad for Hikaru Shida. I felt bad for her. I knew this was going to happen. Oh, I felt so bad for her. Oh. Coffin match. Darby Allin and Sting versus Swerve Strickland and Christian Cage. Sting and Christian Cage had a stare down, but Swerve attacked Sting from behind. Sting knocked down Swerve with a lariat. Darby connected with a coffin, opened the coffin and pulled out a jacket covered with thumbtacks. Sting had a cricket bat. Sting cracked Prince Nana with a cricket bat. Then he hit Swerve with it. Sting and Darby put on thumbtack jackets. Sting and Darby used Stinger Splash and Coffin Splash on Swerve and Prince Nana in the corner. By the way, Darby Allin came out to whom I think Seek and Destroy by Metallica. Money, 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 Tony. I understand that this better not be every time. Swerve speared Sting and Christian speared Darby. Christian used a wrist tape and tied up Darby's arms behind his back. Swerve drove the cricket back into Sting's throat. Darby dodged and speared Christian and followed up with a moonsault with his wrists still taped behind his back. Darby connected with a cannonball dive to Swerve outside the ring. Sting spine-busted Swerve onto the coffin. Christian Cage blindsided Sting and rammed him into the steel ring steps. Christian attempted a concerto on Darby, but Darby escaped. Darby blasted Christian with a shotgun dropkick. Swerve grabbed Darby, but Darby countered with an over-the-top stunner on the apron. Sting jumped off the apron and splashed Swerve, who's on top of the table on the arena floor. Sting went back and dropped an elbow, this time punishing Swerve right through the table. Pushing Swerve right through the table, splitting it in half. Darby jumped off the top turnbuckle and drop kicked Cage, who is popped up a chair on the arena floor. Darby and Sting popped up Coffin against the ring and tried to slam the lid shut, but Christian Christian pushed the lid back open to Christian pushed the lid to prevent it from closing. Luchasaurus hit Sting and Darby from behind, saving Christian. Luchasaurus threw Darby like a lawn dart against the coffin. Nick Wayne ran down, hit Lucha in the back with a skateboard. Lucha dropped Nick Wayne with a headbutt. Luchasaurus chokeslammed Nick Wayne onto the skateboard. Luchasaurus picked up Nick Wayne and carried him on his shoulders to the back. Darby went for a coffin splash off the top turnbuckle and down onto Swerve, who was on the top of the coffin, but Swerve moved. It was a coffin flop for Darby Allin, said Excalibur. Sting splashed Christian and Swerve in the ring. Sting put a scorpion deathlock on Christian. Swerve cracked Sting in the back with a steel chair. That just pissed him off, said Excalibur. Christian Cage used a baseball bat to low blow Sting. Swerve jumped off the top rope and hit a double stomp to Sting. The coffin was placed in the ring. Swerve shoved Sting into the coffin. Swerve tossed the bat into the coffin, wanting to bury Sting and bat together. Swerve tried to shut the coffin, but Sting used a baseball bat to prevent the lid from closing. Swerve body slammed Sting on the top of the coffin. He went for a 450 splash on Sting on the coffin, but Sting rolled out of the way. Darby gouged Christian Cage in the eye. Sting nailed Swerve with a scorpion death drop off the coffin. Darby smashed Swerve with the coffin drop onto the lid of the coffin and slid the coffin lid shut on Swerve. And that is that with that match. Chris Jericho versus the IWGP United Kingdom, United States. It's actually United States heavyweight champion Will Ospreay. Fozzy played Jericho to the ring as Jericho sang Judas. Jericho took down Will with a shoulder tackle. Ospreay kicked Jericho. Ospreay drop kicked Jericho. Ospreay followed up with sky twisted press to Jericho on the floor. Ospreay and Jericho exchanged forearms. Jericho caught Ospreay flush in the face with a springboard drop kick. Jericho followed up with a sliding baseball drop kick. Jericho rocked Will with a German suplex on the ring apron. Ospreay rallied back with a corkscrew kick to Jericho. He followed up with a standing shooting star press to Jericho for a near fall. Jericho had a lot in the tank, though, and took down Will with a Hurricane Rana off the top rope. The Lion Salt was countered by Ospreay. Ospreay followed up with a shooting star press onto Jericho, who was draped across the ropes. Jericho came back with a codebreaker on the Arsenal Assassin. Will blocked the Judas effect and countered with a hook kick to Jericho. Will spiked Jericho with a Q cutter for a near fall. Jericho countered the Stormbreaker and put Will in the walls of Jericho. Don Callis jumped onto the ring apron. While the ref was dealing with Don, Sammy hit Will in the head with Jericho's bat. Jericho charged at Will, but Will countered with a Spanish Fly for a 2 count. Jericho stunned Will with a code breaker. Jericho hit Will with an Oz cutter. Jericho nailed Will with a low blow and cracked him with a Judas effect for a near fall. Ospreay clocked Jericho with a combination Judas Effect Hidden Blade, with followed up with a Stormbreaker for a near fall. Chris Jericho is refusing to quit, said Nigel. Will rocked Jericho with a Hidden Blade. Will nailed Jericho with a second Stormbreaker and pinned Jericho. After the match, Sammy helped Jericho. A dejected Jericho pushed Sammy away. Nigel McGuinness was in the ring with the microphone. London, England. It was what a moment. What a night. 81,035 fans. I always get fucked up on that. Tonight we made a new world record in pro wrestling paid attendance. Paid attendance. How the fuck do you make a new world record? That makes no fucking sense. WWE has done that in paid attendance. Whoever fed that line is a little ridiculous. I'm sorry. House Rule match. AEW World Trios Championship match. House of Black. Malachi Black, Buddy Matthews, and Brody King versus the Acclaimed, Anthony Bowens, Matt Caster, and badass Billy Gunn. Oh my God, they can't use the dub. They can only use to get away with this. They added another D because they can't use BAD. They can only use BADD, and it was in WWE it was always BAD. Oh Jesus, how fucking goddamn petty are they? Jesus. The stipulation was no holds barred. Buddy Matthews flew over the top rope and wiped out the members of the Acclaim. Brody Lee hit a tope on the Acclaim. Julia Hart entered the ring, but Billy Gunn and Max held her down while Anthony Bowens dropped the Sesame Timbers. Brody charged at Billy, but Billy dodged him, sending Brody crashing into the steel guardrail. Malachi and Matthews double-teamed Billy, but Billy took them down with a stiff shots. He splashed them in the corner. Bowens planted Malachi with an arrival. Buddy prevented the mic drop, shoving Caster. Buddy dropped the meteor on Caster. The House of Black swarmed Bowens in the corner with a three-headed hydra. Buddy wrapped a steel chain around his fist and went to crack Bowens with it. Bowens escaped. Malachi gasped, and Brody accidentally hit Malachi. Eek. The Acclaim and Billy Gunn each hit Famousers on Buddy. Billy went for the pin, but Julia Hart pulled the referee Aubrey Edwards out of the ring, preventing her from making the count. Malachi rocked Billy with an end kick, but Billy kicked out Bowen, smashed Brody with an arrival, and Caster followed up with a mic drop. Billy hit the Famouser, and the Acclaim followed up with a second arrival and mic drop, covering Brody for the pin. New AEW Trios Champions, the Acclaim and Billy Gunn. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, that the House of Black did a tribute to Bray Wyatt, which, again, this isn't going to be over for a while, so we're just going to have to go with it. Just buy stock and tissues. That's all I say. Main event time. AEW World Championship match. MJF versus Adam Cole, baby. The match began with two friends taking in the moment, displaying good sportsmanship, but quickly broke down. Cole stopped MJF in the corner after pulling Bryce Remsburg in MJF's path. Cole grabbed a handful of MJF's hair and yanked him to the mat. MJF responded in kind. MJF is upset with his best friend, said Excalibur. Cole attacked a thrust kick. We may be friends, but I'm better than you, said Adam Cole. Cole ripped MJF's t-shirt off of him. MJF blocked a super kick and scoop slammed Cole. MJF whipped Cole into the turnbuckles. Was a terrible landing on multiple levels, said Excalibur. MJF hit a dive through the ropes onto Cole. MJF and Cole traded pin attempts, neither man with clear advantage. Cole stunned, MJF with a punt kick. MJF powerbombed Cole onto his outstretched knees. MJF was looking for the Panama Sunrise, but Cole superkicked MJF. Cole nailed MJF with a heat seeker. Cole whipped MJF into the steel ring steps. Cole drilled MJF in with a sheer drop brainbuster on the steel ring steps. Is Cole concerned about his friend or concerned about MJF being counted out? Asked Nigel. Cole is about to hit the Panama Sunrise, but MJF couldn't get to his feet and stumbled out of the ring. MJF dismantled the top of the broadcast booth. MJF was going to tombstone Cole on the top of the booth, but MJF put him down. Unable to put his friend through the table, instead Cole spiked MJF with a tombstone on the top of the broadcast table. Cole rolled back MJF into the ring, but MJF kicked out at the count of 2. MJF thumbed Cole in the eye. MJF rallied Cole with rolling elbow strikes. Cole fired back with a Canadian destroyer, but Max retaliated with his last-ditch kick. Both men flat exhausted from physical punishment from each other, said Taz. The fans chanted, "This is awesome, this is awesome." The champion and the challenger called for the double clothesline. They ran into each other with clotheslines, falling on top one another. The ref counted for 2 or 3, and it was declared a draw. A double pin, it's a draw, said Excalibur. The ring announcer, Justin Roberts, announced the match was a draw. Adam grabbed the microphone and said, "No freaking way, Max, 5 more minutes." MJF replied, "No, 5 minutes isn't enough. Adam, we're going until we got a winner in Wembley." MJF blocked a super kick from Cole, but then Cole thumbed MJF in the eyes. Cole charged at MJF, and MJF ducked, with Adam Cole inadvertently running into the referee and knocking him down. Bryce Remsburg just got decked, said Excalibur. "He got popped inadvertently there," replied Taz. MJF sat up and a big grin on his face. "It's playtime now for Max with the referee down," said Taz. MJF grabbed a steel chair and threw it to Adam Cole. Cole threw it back. Neither one wanted it. Max placed the chair around his head to make it look like Cole hit him with it. The ref got to his feet and questioned Cole. MJF rolled up Cole for a near fall. MJF followed up with a thrust kick. MJF drilled Cole with a heat seeker. Cole kicked out at 2. Cole nailed MJF with a straitjacket, German suplex on the apron. Cole spiked MJF with a Panama Sunrise off the apron onto the floor. Cole rolled MJF into the ring, but MJF kicked out at 2. Cole setting up MJF for another Panama Sunrise. MJF pulled out the ref Cole's way, and Cole invertedly hit the ref with a Panama Sunrise. MJF pulled the dynamite diamond ring out of his trunks. MJF was on the verge of tears, torn, not sure what to do. He pulled the ring off and put it back in his trunks. Out of nowhere, Roderick Strong jumped into the ring behind MJF. Roderick Strong kicked MJF between the legs. Cole climbed back and drilled MJF with the Panama Sunrise. Cole dropped his knee pant and prepared to lower the boom with the knee strike. The ref was still out. The ref finally crawled back and started to make the count. MJF kicked at it too. "Wembley Stadium is on its feet," said Excalibur. Roderick Strong threw the AEW World title into the ring, but Cole told Cole to use it on MJF. "Do it, Adam. I'm your best friend," screamed Roderick. Cole picked up the title and threw it out of the ring. Roderick Strong walked out on Adam Cole. MJF cradled Adam Cole and pinned him. Still world champion MJF. After the match, MJF said it was okay and that the people still love Cole. MJF brought the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles in the ring and handed one to Cole, but Cole threw it down. "To get it, I get it. You never cared about me. You only cared about the belt. You're fake," said MJF. MJF picked up the AEW World Championship and tossed it at Adam. Cole. MJF told Cole to get it over with, and with turning its back to Cole. Adam picked up the title. Roderick jumped on the apron and ordered Adam Cole to hit MJF with it. Adam Cole was tempted, threw the belt down. MJF and Adam Cole hugged it out. The Kingdom held Roderick strong as MJF and Adam Cole celebrated in the ring. Excalibur announced on August 25th, 2024, they will be back for All In 2. And they will be in the Now Arena in Chicago, Illinois on Wednesday for Dynamite. So that is it. That's it. Excellent pay-per-view. Great afternoon of wrestling. And that is it. So I will see you all this Friday at 2 p.m. for episode 305. Please go check out the rest of my stuff on the YouTube channel. Please like, share, and subscribe. Turn on the bell for all notifications so when I go live or upload something, you know about it. Please do me a favor, check out my Astro Classics at myAstroClassics.com. Go check out Liquid Death at liquiddeath.com. Go check out Deathwish Coffee at deathwishcoffee.com. Go check out HOG Wrestling at hogwrestling.net. And if you want to see any of their events and you can't get to the event yourself, please go check out the Premiere app, and you can subscribe to it for $9.99 a month. Please go check me out on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Threads, and X, Twitter. So I love you all. Again, please have a great rest of your evening. And one other thing. Run. Love you all. Godspeed, Bray Wyatt.